In this video, we're going to focus on a maybe not as well known, but very important figure in Jewish history and specifically in the history of Jewish law. This is Rabbi Yaakov ben Asher, also known as the Baal Haturim or the Tur. Last week, we talked about Rabbi Asher ben Yechiel, the Rosh, and this is his son, Rabbi Yaakov. The Rosh had many children. I believe he had 8 children. His son, actually, who took over him in Toledo, we discussed last week how the Rosh, a Ashkenazi rabbi, ended up in Spain. He was succeeded by his son, Rabbi Judah, Rabbi Yehuda, in Toledo. And his son, Rabbi Yaakov, actually did not succeed him. He was a little bit younger than Rabbi Yehuda, but he ends up becoming the more famous brother. Not a lot is known about his biographical life. He was born in approximately the year 1269, passed away in the year 1340. He apparently lived in great poverty. He never wanted to take a position as a rabbi or communal leader. He felt that would take away from his studies, which he excelled in. But his literary works are what his legacy lives till this day. So the first thing that Rabbi Yaakov, who again had studied by his father, the Rosh in Toledo mostly. He probably came to Toledo at around the age of 11 when his father escaped Germany. So Rabbi Yaakov studied by his father, and really one of his, if you want to say, one of his main influences is his father's writings and all the halachic works. Most of the time he will follow his father's opinion. So if you want to know what is the opinion of the Rosh of Rabbeinu Asher, you can look in the works of Rabbi Yaakov. So the first book that he wrote was called Piskei HaRosh, and essentially it's like just little snippets of his father's works, and he just said, okay, so this is the law. The law is X, Y, Z. So his father would write a whole essay and a whole long thing, and the Rabbeinu Yaakov wrote this small little law. This is the law based on what my father wrote. The next, probably the most important work that he wrote was called the Arba Turim, also known just as the Tur. And the Arba Turim is based on the verse in Exodus where it talks about the Choshen Mishpat, the breastplate of the Kohen Gadol, and it's called Arba Turim, 4 rows, because there are 4 rows of 3 stones, each representing one tribe of Israel. And the Choshen is called the Chosh Mishpat, like the breastplate of justice or law, and that was kind of where the play on words comes from. So what he did is he made 4 rows. He made 4 books or sections, really. Today it comes out to a lot more than 4 books. But he made 4 sections of halacha. And until today, these 4 sections are what guide Jewish law. So, for example, the first section is called Orach Chaim, the way of life. So it starts off with the laws of what you do when you wake up in the morning. Then it goes to the laws of prayer, the laws of Shabbat, the laws of the Jewish holidays. This is kind of the laws that every single Jew has to know, basics of Jewish life. The next section is called Yorei De'ah, which means the teacher of knowledge, and this is kind of more in-depth study of what kind of rabbis need to know. Not just rabbis, but it's the laws of kashrut, the laws of family purity, the laws of ribis, of interest, etc. Those kind of laws of Isser, what we call Isser v'Heter, and this is meaning what is permitted and what is forbidden. And this is mostly what rabbis study when they go for rabbinical study today. They study mostly Yorei De'ah, these laws of what is permissible and what is forbidden, etc. The third section is called Choshe Mishpat, which means kind of, again, going back to that original play on words of justice. And this Choshe Mishpat talks about legal financial law. So legal financial law is, the laws of what happens if somebody steals something. What happens if you have a court case? What are the laws of judges? What are the laws of witnesses? All those things are found in Choshe Mishpat, and those are what a dayan, somebody who would be a rabbinic judge, would study to get dayanut, to get it's kind of more than rabbinical ordination, but like you now are a rabbinic judge. This is what they study. And the last section, again, mostly studied today by rabbis, is Even HaEzer's, the laws of marriages, the laws of divorce, the laws of levirate marriage, etc. So those are the 4 sections. Now, till today, these are the 4 sections that any Jewish rabbi, he's going to write a book, and he's going to usually put it into these kind of 4 sections. What does that mean? So, for example, if a rabbi were to write a book about the laws of Shabbat, it would be the laws of Shabbat, Orach Chayim, right? And then he would write a book about, let's say, Kashrut, it would be Yorei De'ah. If you write a book about judges or witnesses, it would be in Choshe Mishpat, etc. So every single section till today, these are the sections that we use to study Jewish law. And when Rabbi Yosef Karo, who we'll talk about, God willing, next week, when he wrote his Shulchan Aruch, he based his Shulchan Aruch, his code of Jewish law, based on the Torah's 4 sections, and till this day, that is the standard. Now, there's 2 special things about these 4 sections. Number one is that the Torah did not write what we call, he wrote simanim, which again, till this day, those are the same simanim, the same, we'll call it chapters for lack of a better word, that we use. So for example, if you were to write a halachic discourse on a certain topic, you would say, this is a discourse on Orach Chayim, Siman Aleph, Seif Aleph, or Siman Aleph, okay, the first chapter. And then what later, other rabbis, we'll talk about Rabbi Yosef Karo and others, they added Seifim, which are like subsections. That was later, and those changed over the years. So the Torah just wrote general, kind of, in a more general. And so first of all, what he did was, in his book, is that he only discusses laws that are relevant nowadays. So compared to Maimonides, which we discussed previously, Maimonides wrote on the entire Torah, even laws that are not relevant nowadays, like the laws of Korbanot, the laws of the Holy Temple, the laws of sacrifices, the laws of ritual purity, ritual impurity that apply only when there's a temple. Maimonides wrote on all those things. The Torah, Rabbi Yaakov Baal Haturim, he focused on just the laws that are relevant till today in exile. Eventually, he also incorporated many customs, okay, mostly Ashkenazi customs, because, like we said, he was from the Ashkenazi background, based on his father's background. He did incorporate others as well, but he mainly focused on, he did add customs compared to Maimonides, did not write any customs. He also, again, like we said, was very focused on his father's works, and he would quote many rabbis. So Maimonides doesn't quote anybody, and he only brings the exact law, versus the Torah is more of a little more discussion. So it's kind of a balance, but it's still mostly straight up to Jewish law, without really any discourse and reasoning, just kind of small little, well, this is the opinion of this, and this is the opinion of that, and this is what my father said, kind of a thing, which again diverts from Maimonides' code, where Maimonides only wrote, he did not quote anybody. So the Torah deviated from that as well, where he quotes many, he could even quote many opinions, and then say the law follows this one, or this is what my father, the Rosh, Rabbeinu Asher, spoke about, and that's what his decision was. Like we said, this became the basis of Jewish law till today. Rabbis will study the Torah with its commentaries, and before following up on other legal codes. Again, because he is really the one who started this idea of, these are the 4 sections, these are the laws we're going to focus on, laws that are relevant nowadays in the exile. The other book that he wrote, he also wrote a commentary on the Chumash, which you could find in most editions of the Chumash. There's printed the Baal Haturim. It means the author of the Torah, of the Arba Turim book. So it's kind of, he's identified with his halachic work, even in his commentary on the Chumash, on the Torah, and very much mystical kind of a work, very into gematria, which means, numerical values of different words, and other kind of mystical ideas in the Torah. So just to sum it up, Rabbi Yaakov Baal Haturim, also known as the Tur, Rabbi Yaakov, the son of Asher, his legacy lives on today, that he created the framework for which Jewish law is discussed till this day, and the framework for which the later codifiers will, as we'll discuss in the coming weeks, all based their works based on the Torah. And his legacy lives today because rabbis till today will study the Torah. That is the starting point for every rabbinic study of Jewish law. You have to start with the Torah. The Torah is the place to start to get an anthology of Jewish law as it is discussed today. And again, also his study of the Chumash shows in his mystical side, his discussion of Jewish mysticism that is again printed in almost every edition of the Chumash that you could find. So if you have any questions, comments, you think we missed something we should have said, something we should have included, please feel free to leave a comment below. And we'll see you, God willing, next time.